Folks, hello again. This week, Donald Trump will become the most high-profile person to ever face criminal charges under the Espionage Act. Now, to understand where things are at, let's go back to the Espionage Act. What is this act that everyone's talking about that could send Donald Trump to prison? Well, the Espionage Act is an anti-spy law that's more than a century old. It was passed by Congress in June 1917 towards the end of the First World War. What it sought to do was crack down on wartime activities considered dangerous or disloyal, including attempts to acquire defence-related information with the intent to harm the United States or acquire code and signal books, photographs, blueprints, and other such documents with the intention of passing them to America's enemies. So there is a case in that sense, but is it enough to convict? And if so, what's the penalty? Donald Trump is facing 37 criminal counts. 31 of them relate to top-secret classified documents. The others are obstructing justice, conspiracy, concealment, and false statements. So now let's look at what was found at Trump's Mar-a-Lago compound. According to the unsealed indictment, Trump is accused of risking some of the most closely guarded secrets by storing classified documents in unsecured areas of his Florida home, including a bathroom. The documents, according to the indictment, are details about American nuclear weapons, spy satellites, and the military. They were produced by the Pentagon and arms of the US intelligence community, and that includes the CIA, the National Security Agency, and other agencies. But how serious are they? Well, depends who you talk to. This was Trump's former Attorney General, Bill Barr.
Yes, his adversaries have obsessively pursued him with phony claims, and I've been at his side defending against them when he is a victim. But this is much different. He's not a victim here. He was totally wrong that he had the right to have those documents. Those documents are among the most sensitive secrets that the country has. They have to be in the custody of the archivist. He had no right to maintain them and retain them. And he kept them in a way at Mar-a-Lago that anyone who really cares about national security, their stomach would churn at it.
It's important to remember that amidst all of this is a highly charged political environment. Trump has enemies everywhere. That includes Bill Barr. And while Barr thinks his old boss is, quote, toast, our global affairs expert, Joe Siracusa, has a different take, that essentially the documents are nothing more than a yawn.
This is really a classic case of prosecutorial overreach. These documents, which are he's being charged under the espionage, are not as serious as you may think they are. Pete, I've written about 6 books on nuclear weapons. I've had in my hand every serious nuclear document since the Manhattan Project in 1940. And only about 3% of them are of cardinal significance. Most of these things are simply conjectures and wanderings by some academic on some committee somewhere in the CIA or at Langley. It's when they start to look at these things, and that'll be Trump's defense, is that these were not serious things.
But according to the Washington Post, he was showing these documents to people who should not have seen them and was plotting to keep the authorities from finding out what he had. He was showing off. But is that a reason to send a former president to jail? And on that point, if he goes to jail, where are they putting the Secret Service? Yes, he was careless and intentionally kept the documents and the authorities away, so he is in trouble. But remember, most ex-presidents have kept old classified documents in storage when their time in the White House was up. It's just that Trump is on the end of a relentless campaign by Democrats, which so far has failed, and that irritates his opponents to no end. And it also fits a pattern of behaviour that Trump has followed throughout his whole career: dodge petty rules and legal restrictions. It was that appeal that got him in the White House into the first place. Hey, even he thought he was above the law. This was 7 years ago.
And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
And the voters still don't mind. Latest polling shows Trump's numbers have not even been affected. There hasn't even been a bounce for his nearest Republican challenger, Ron DeSantis. As with what happened in New York just a few months ago, it energises Trump's base, And as long as Joe Biden keeps this in the headlines and away from his own shortcomings, he'll have to wear whatever consequences may come. I've always thought that if Trump survived the Access Hollywood tapes, he could survive anything. I guess we'll see if that continues. Thanks for watching. To support this channel, please like, share and subscribe below. See you next week.